I'm going to talk about a topic that perhaps hasn't been on the radar very much, this idea of kernels being deep. So the reason for kind of thinking about them in that way is that there's been such a lot of activity around deep learning and neural networks particularly, and it's really re-emerged in the last maybe 5 years as a really important research topic, but also one with considerable commercial value. I mean, just this recently, the company DeepMind, which was working in reinforcement learning, but also deep learning, was snapped up by Google for 400 million pounds, I believe. So, you know, this is commanding considerable interest in the large corporations, and they're seeing it as a sort of technique that has real commercial value. So deep belief networks was perhaps where it all started, and those have led this sort of charge. And so there's been various views on what the innovation is and so on, and what the value of these methods are. I'm not going to go so much into that, but what I want to do is to try and address this accusation that kernels are sometimes referred to as shallow, and this is by deep people, so this is kind of hurts, So what I want to do is discuss what is meant by deep learning in the context of, why kernels are shallow. And then I want to go through a number of ways in which kernel learning has become deeper and in this sense. And hopefully convince you that there is, sort of real value in retaining the kernel view of learning and developing in that formalism. So why are kernel methods regarded as shallow? Well, at the first sight, it would appear a little unfair. I mean, kernels learn in nonlinear functions in the input space, so would therefore appear to be just as flexible as these deep learning systems in the sense that they can learn nonlinear patterns in data. However, the critical difference is that they actually implement linear functions in a kernel-defined feature space. So this is the way it works. There's a sort of fixed mapping which is defined by the kernel implicitly. You don't actually do it explicitly, typically. And then you have this learn